A Georgia woman was arrested in the Bahamas this weekend after it was found out that she and the man that she was sleeping with were plotting to kill her former Auburn football player husband. This is the story of Robert and Lindsay Shiver, who went from the American dream, the SEC dream, 3 kids, 2 houses, millions of dollars, to one of the half of the couple almost being killed, and the other half probably behind bars for a very, very long time. To understand this story fully, we must go back to Auburn in 2006. That is when Robert Shiver made his way onto the Auburn football team as a long snapper. And then another woman who had blonde hair was on campus, and her name was Lindsay Shiver. In 2007, this is according to Lindsay Shiver's Instagram account, which is still public, which, has given us a lot of information for at least me in this video. They met in what appeared to be a fitness class. And why is an Auburn football player going to a fitness class? Well, he is the long snapper, so I shouldn't be making jokes about a man who had a contract put on his head in another country, but I guess I just did. But he's all right, Robert Shiver. Long live Robert Shiver. We'll get to all of that down the road, but they meet in 2007 at Auburn. Robert Shiver spends his last year on the Auburn football team in 2008. Robert did not get drafted in the 2009 NFL draft, of course, because he was a long snapper, but he did get signed by the Atlanta Falcons as an undrafted free agent. He is from Georgia, hometown team, pretty cool. He did not make the team, however, and then he went on, as I think all SEC players do, to sell life insurance. Now, for Lindsay, she's a former cheerleader. It was thought that she was on the Auburn cheerleading team. However, she is not. I want that on the record. She was a former cheerleader. She also won a Houston pageant in 2005. Before, that would probably be the year before she started college, or the year she started college. And on top of it, she also, I'm looking down at my notes, came in second in the National Peanut Festival pageant. I don't know what that is, but she did come in second in that. So just to give a little bit of background on her, a very accomplished individual. They get married, and then they have some kids, and Robert's doing really well at this life insurance company. He is working his way up. They buy this awesome house. They have multiple kids, and they're living what appears to be the American dream. Robert, former SEC, I wouldn't even call it the American dream. I would call it the SEC dream, okay? The SEC dream. You meet in college, former cheerleader, football player, this really great fitness class story. You get married, as you can see over here, what I'm pointing at. You get married, you have kids, you buy a house. This house is spectacular. It's an amazing house in Georgia. I believe it's about 3 to 4 hours outside of Georgia. It's closer to Tallahassee, or outside of Atlanta. It's closer to Tallahassee than Atlanta. In my TikTok, I actually said that it was very close to Atlanta, and everyone got mad at me. I'm a Yankee, okay? But I respect the South. I'm not a Yankee hater, or a Southern hater, but I am a Yankee. You have to give me some credit and some leeway for these things. And then they also have a house in the Bahamas. Lindsay and Robert probably have millions upon millions of dollars. Their kids are probably going to great schools. They have everything except love, it appears. And that was a very, meaningful thing that I just said there. But at some point over the past few years, Lindsay Shiver started to cheat on her husband. And you guessed it, the man who she was having an affair with, which led to Robert filing for divorce, is involved in this entire situation as well. It appears that Lindsay Shiver and Terrence Bethel, who was named in the police report, met on the Bahamas at some point over the past few years, and their affair started. Robert found out about his wife banging a 28-year-old. She's 36, a little bit of a cougar action going on there. Not even a little bit, a lot of it. And he finds out about Terrence and Lindsay, and he files for divorce. They were due in court on July 20th. That may have happened, but there's no public documents about it, at least not yet. However, before the first divorce proceedings were due to happen in court on July 16th, according to the police report that was filed in the Bahamas, there was already plans to have Robert killed. And that is what we found out involved a third member, the person that Lindsay and Terrence decided to hire to have Robert killed. Now, how did this all get figured out? Maybe the Bahamas just have this great police force. I'm probably going to guess they do not, just because, it's a smaller island. It's mostly tourists that are coming. You're not going to have these top tier FBI investigations on the Bahamas, but let's just say they didn't need it. This actually got found out after there was a break-in to a local bar. That local bar was named Grabbers, and at some point in July, Grabbers had a crime committed inside of it. I think there was a burglary or whatnot. And while the police were investigating that, they found WhatsApp messages between Lindsay, Terrence, and the hitman, which essentially were, they looked at it and were like, wait a second. Are you plotting to kill your husband? And yes, that's what they have found in these WhatsApp messages, which, by the way, guys, I mean, I'm against murder in general. You should not be plotting to kill anyone, okay? That's against the law. However, if you're doing something like this, what are you doing sending messages on WhatsApp? You're really that fooled by the, encrypted messages commercials you see on the TV? WhatsApp, no. That stuff is going to be handed over to the police without a doubt. Within seconds. Stop using WhatsApp. Use something, I don't know. Even Telegram would be better than that. At least Telegram's ran by the Russians or whatever. Signal. I mean, I'm just giving away ways that Lindsay Shiver should have went about doing this. But thank God that she did not, because she's an evil, evil woman, if this is true. And she will be spending a lot of time in jail now. And she will have a lot of time within those cells, in that cell, to consider what she has done and how she could have gone about it differently. But within these WhatsApp messages, it was very clear that they were plotting to kill Robert Shiver. And now they are in jail. They have not posted bail. I've never realized before that jail and bail rhyme. Interesting. All that being said, they are there. The three of them, the guy that was hired, the 28-year-old Terrence Bethel, and then the 36-year-old Lindsay Shiver, the mother of 3. How do you explain that to your kids? Do you feel, if you're Robert right now, do you feel like you have a second life? Or are you just so traumatized? I'm not trying to make a joke. It's just, I've had things go against me and then they work out and you're like, oh my God. I feel like I have a second life now. Now, obviously, I don't have kids and I don't have to explain to them, oh, yeah, your mom ran off with a 28-year-old who just appeared that he's just a Bahamas local. It wasn't like it was like this some great guy. And she tried to plot to have me killed for, I would assume they were trying to get. This is alleged. Actually, I'm not even going to say. I'm not trying to be nice to this. This is an awful, awful thing. They're probably trying to get life insurance money with 1,000%. They were probably trying to get all of his money, and then they would go into his house, live in his house that he bought with his own money after they killed him. Funny enough, if you go to Lindsay's Instagram right now, who she follows, her recent follows include... Now, I don't know if this is Instagram just having a laugh with us or, sometimes they'll randomize it. Sometimes it's actually chronological. You never know with Instagram these days. But it's the bar that got broken into, which led to her plot being exposed and her going to jail for, I hope, a very long time. And then a man named Adrian Bethel, which I would assume is Terrence Bethel. Adrian Bethel's Instagram has 2 photos, but if you go to the tagged photos, within the tagged photos is a photo of what appears to be the bar that got broken into that led to their plot to have Robert Shiver killed exposed. Very, very, very crazy, crazy times. Lindsay, while we're on the topic of the Instagram, she had photos on there like this one. She's wearing a hat that says misbehaving. And then I'm also going to pull up this one where she said the key to it, this was from 2020, okay, March 2020. So, I mean, not that long ago. Maybe she was with Terrence at this time, but quote unquote, the key to a perfect marriage is having two imperfect people who refuse to give up on each other. Well, that is true, but you really did give up on Robert. You literally gave up on him in the ultimate way. You wanted to have him killed. Anyways, sometimes life is not, or what we think somebody's life appears to be is not all it's cracked out to be. I'm sure there was people very jealous and envious of Lindsay Shiver. Oh, she's great. She has everything. Same with Robert. Great wife, kids, $1 million home, a home in the Bahamas. But no, Lindsay was evil. 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 Banging a 28-year-old on the Bahamas. And then plotted to have, if that wasn't bad enough, she then had plotted to have Robert killed. And she was so dumb that she did it on WhatsApp. Enjoy jail, Lindsay. I hope you rot there. Thank you for yet another YouTube video with Jack Mac, journalisming, the whole nine. I'm trying to get into the longer form content. If you're new to me, please subscribe. If you've seen me on TikTok, Instagram, whatnot, this is more of my longer form content. I'm trying out a new thing. I really appreciate you. Comment, subscribe, like, the whole nine. I love you. You love me. We're a happy family. That's the Barney song, right? What? I'm delirious right now, but thank you. I appreciate you more than you. If you got to this point, I appreciate you more than you will ever know. God is great. Alhamdulillah.